Dude, so the last time you were here, how long was it ago? A year?
Probably a year.
What?
Yeah.
Dude, what has happened in a year?
What a year, right? I thought the other year was crazy. This
Yeah.
year has been insane. Yeah, a lot has happened.
Can you get a date of when's the last time he was here? How you feeling? Tell everybody, what did you just do yesterday?
Dude, I'm tired. So I'm drinking coffee. No, yesterday, Mike O'Dowd from Defense Strategies Group, him and I, we took a mini bird out to Catalina Island. We Hilo casted in. So for those of you that don't know Hilo casting, that's we jump off the bird into the water. So we jumped into the ocean. It was supposed to be a mile from the shore.
Yeah.
Ended up being a little bit farther out. Not exactly sure the distance, but it was far. It was a far swim. And so we swam in, ran a couple miles to our next point, jumped in again, did another mile swim, and then we ran around 7 to 8 miles uphill to the Catalina airport.
Yeah.
And man, it was brutal. Those trails, I mean, it was just uphill, but gorgeous though. I mean, I told you this earlier, like I took what we did in the military for granted, like those days that we would do helo casting, those days that we would do just cool stuff like that, where you're just like hanging off of a helicopter like that.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh yeah, it's just another day, But yesterday, I just really appreciated the whole thing, just the whole process, just us coming in, going across the water. I was like, man, this is sick.
Yeah.
And then I'm hanging off the skids of the bird, and I remember I was crouched down, and then I look down, and I see Mike on the other side crouched down, and he looks at me, and he's like, yeah. And I was like, this is awesome. Like, this is what it's all about, And then, we jumped in, did our thing, and the whole time it was just like brutal. And Mike and I were like, complaining to one another every once in a while, like, dude, like I'm dying right now, But it was cool that we're suffering together and battling that out together and doing some like just hard man shit together.
Yeah.
Because, just I feel like people are too soft, And every once in a while, you got to get outside your comfort zone and do something extremely hard just to test yourself and make yourself better.
Yeah.
Because him and I, we didn't train for that. We were just like, we're like, hey, you want to do this? I was like, absolutely. And the way I trained is I was like, well, I'll go skate every day. And,
Dude, because when I would see you post videos of you skating every day, I remember thinking as it was getting closer and closer, I'm like, he's got to be doing some training offline. He's not showing us.
No, I didn't do anything. I think I ran a total of I don't know, maybe 9 miles since then. But like I did like 3 miles one day, and then the next week I do another 3 miles. Because I'll like run every once in a while. But no. But the thing is, like, so Mike and I talked about this on the run. We said when we're younger, we rely a lot on our physical ability, right? But mentally, we're not that tough, and we're still building that mental toughness.
Yeah.
But when we're older, it's like we went through all those experiences. We know what we could do, and we know that we could push ourselves. And so it's like I was like, you know what? Physically, I might be like, not at my peak performance like I was before, but mentally, like I'll get through anything.
Yeah.
And so and he was like, dude, I was the same way. He's like, I know that no matter what, no matter how many miles are in front of me, we're gonna do it. And I'm like, yeah, absolutely. That's probably not the best approach. I should have probably done like, I probably should have been training for it. But I mean, we crushed it, and it was awesome. So,
Dude, why'd you guys end up doing it anyways?
Well, we did it because 10,000. We did like kind of like a promo thing for 10,000 and for Defense Strategies Group, and so part of it was kind of like a little photo shoot video, piece that they're putting out for 10,000. And so we had videographers like, Kodiak was out there with his brother. And then there was, I want to say his name's Colin. He was out there. He might be one of their friends, or I don't know if it's his third brother. Does Kodiak have another brother?
I don't know.
Shoot, I don't know. But anyways, he was out there with this other guy, and they were following us the whole way. They had drones. They would get out on land, and they would run with us for a little bit. They were in the boat watching us, Hilo cast in and everything. Kodiak was in the bird. So there was a lot of media that, or there's a lot of stuff that was captured that they're going to be putting out later for 10,000 and for Defense Strategies Group. But it was also like when Mike told me like, hey, you want to do this? Without hesitation, I'm like, absolutely.
Yep.
But should I train for it? Heck yeah, I should have. Am I feeling it today? Yeah, but not as bad as I thought.
Dude, that's why I tell young dudes anytime they ask me anything, dude, I always end it with enjoy the journey. Mm-hmm. Enjoy the journey, because there's so many things I took for granted or I didn't know. Like, it's not that these were the best days. It's just like these days are some of the best days of your military career.
Oh, yeah.
So within that chapter of your life, like, take it in.
Yeah.
And I thought I did a good job about it, because I remember within the group, I was one of the ones that took the most pictures.
Yeah.
But then looking back, I'm like, that's not even a lot of pictures.
No, not at all. Not compared to what we take now.
Yeah.
But it was like, it was frowned upon. When you're in the military and you're that guy that's like taking a lot of pictures, people are like, what are you doing, man? This isn't a photo op. Let's get to what we're doing, whether it's training or whether it's a real mission. Like, people were all about just getting it done and not trying to capture the moment.
Yeah, like, put it this way. I have 0 pictures of me and Nods in the military.
Yeah.
And I was trying to look for one. I'm like, dude, all the times we did demo training at night or shooting or anything,
yeah.
I'm like, I don't have any of that. Because I was always thinking, okay, all right, what's my job? Mm-hmm. Did my guys do this? Did I need to do that? I should have done this better. All right, we got to clean up, go home. What's tomorrow going to look like? Is my gear prepped? Do I need to wash anything? Do I need to buy anything? And then the days would just go by, the years would go by, then you're like, and like that, it's over.
Oh, yeah. Dude, I mean, my first Iraq deployment, I had one of those cameras, like the disposable ones.
Yeah.
You have to like wind up.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that was the camera I brought out there. So like I barely have any pictures from that one. And then even my second deployment, I had a digital camera. And yeah, even still, I think I could count on both hands like how many pictures I have from those deployments. From just those 2 Iraq ones. I took a lot more photos in my other deployments, but again, like you said, like not enough.
Yeah.
But yesterday, yeah, I definitely enjoyed the moment of yesterday and everything that we were doing, and I just like was just, I don't know, I just felt like just so grateful. Because it was like, I was thinking about where we were too. I'm like, dude, I'm on Catalina Island right now. I flew here in a mini bird.
Yep.
And I didn't pay for it.
Yep.
Right. And I jumped out and I'm swimming with my bro and now we're running. And even though it hurts, like everything was super cool. Like we actually, for a second, we stopped and cut off the cactus fruit. Like what is it called? The Duda. But it's like the prickly pear, Yeah. So we took one of those off and we like cut it and we were eating that while we were running, and I was like, man, this is awesome, doing that. And we saw some buffalo. I was like, man, this is so cool.
Dude, just another day at the office.
Dude, just another day.
When it's good, it's good. But when it's not good, you're like, fuck. And and it goes, well, because we're right. This is it's a business, right? Mm-hmm. Mike started, we work there. And then you have thrashing raid. And when it's good, it's good. And when it's bad, it is bad. Yeah. And since the last time you were here, there's been a lot of good and a lot of bad.
August 1st, it said, according to YouTube.
Dude, August 1st, so almost just about a year.
Yeah, it's been over a year.
Today's the 31st, so over a year since you were here.
Yeah.
Dude, what has happened?
Yeah, so, I mean, when I started Thrash and Raid, and I think I said this the last time, I never thought where I'd be today would be, I thought it'd be somewhere like years from now, right?
Yeah.
Like 5-10 years from now. The stuff that we've been able to do, the relationships that we've built, and the things that we've accomplished, never thought it would happen so early, let alone in that first year. When I first started talking to you, like we had done like a few events. We did that first Shred the Trend, which was awesome. We had like 400 something people there. And we had planned that in like 3 weeks.
3 weeks, dude.
We're like, hey, let's do this event. Like CJ Ramon was like, I'm coming out, you know?
Yeah.
And we're like, dude, that's sick. Joe Sib, was a comedian there. We had, dude, it was so rad. And And then fast forward now, just a year later, man, we kicked off 6 feet above, right? We hit it hard, between Riley Whitcomb. He's another Marine veteran, so and you know him. But he founded 6 feet above, said, hey, I want to start this thing. I want to bring you into it, right? So him and we kicked it off. I brought in some guys from the team with Thrashing Raid. So it was basically like a team Thrashing Raid plus Riley thing, right? And so we had done a bunch of different retreats, right? Every month we're like, hey, let's do a retreat. Let's bring these people in. And we were taking these guys from all over the country, and we were bringing them out to Southern California, having them meet pro skaters, going to exclusive places like the Barracks, like OC Ramps, going to the Braille House, going to the Sandlot Times with Ryan Scheckler, and just meeting all sorts of just rad skaters and people. And what was awesome is as we were doing it, just kept building more momentum, because people were like, I want to be a part of that. Whether I want to support it, or I want to contribute, or I want to donate my time. And so it was amazing. And what people might not know is that we weren't getting paid for that, right? Like Thrashing Raid is how we were making our income.
Yeah.
But 6 feet above, we're donating our time to that. But what I ended up doing is spending a lot of time invested in that and invested into people. And there's only 4 of us running that. But what we're doing is like people sign up. We're making those phone calls. We're reaching out to people, vetting them, making sure like we're bringing the right people to these retreats. And then we're setting up all the logistics, getting the Airbnbs, all the flights, setting up all the stuff with all the pro skaters and with the venues that we're going to be at. And it's a lot of work. It's hours and hours of our time that.
And you have a family.
And I have a family. I got a family, 4 kids and a wife, and it's tough. And doing that on top of running a business that was growing like rapidly, and we had doubled since then. Since that last year, we had doubled in growth, and it was insane. And just coming up with new designs and new content. We brought on Chris Sandanya, who was just an
game changer,
dude, absolute game changer, because that was something I envisioned. I said, how are we going to set ourselves apart from all these other brands, right? And I said, you know what? I want to be able to pivot in the event that, the market or something goes to crap, right? Because when I first started Thrashing Raid, we started right at the beginning, or not the beginning, but like in the height of COVID, right? July 2020. And getting just like anything was tough, right? And I'm sure you remember, like, just logistically, it was tough just to get products and the things you needed, and gas prices went up, and that caused everything else to go up. And so what I wanted to do was avoid that from happening again. And I was like, okay, well, if that happens, how could I still maintain relevance if I don't have products? And to me, I was like, entertainment. All right, let's find a way to start producing some really entertaining content, right? Cast a wide net out there rather than just veterans, rather than just skateboarders. We could cast this wide net out there to a whole different demographic that might not know about skateboarding, and hopefully attract them to it, right? So that was kind of like us looking at the top of the funnel of bringing people in. And that ended up being one of the most fun things like we've ever done. Is just being able to create that funny content. Because and we try to show some behind the scenes stuff, and you've been a part of it too. And like, it's fun filming.
It is.
It's a lot of work too, the stuff that goes into coordinating that. But it's like, dude, we die laughing.
Dude.
Yeah.
I have a good time, and I've been missing a lot of them, and I need to show up to fucking film. I do.
Yeah, man. And I appreciate you doing that too, because a lot of the guys that, we have into the skits, it's like, we're not paying some of the guys like to do those, to be, extras or to be part of the skits. But man, there's so much fun filming and even writing them too. Like, we'll write some stuff, and whatever we write on a script, we'll have the script, and then we show up, and then we just like add stuff in as we go, as you know.
Yeah.
And that's what just makes it so much fun, is just guys hanging out and just like, thinking creatively and coming up with new ideas. And I think that's what made Thrashing Raid so special, is that the people that I was able to attract to bring onto the team weren't just like normal dudes, right?
Yeah.
They were like just prime, like funny dudes, creative thinkers, just amazing skaters, and just amazing people that like would take the shirt off your back for you. And I'm just so grateful that I was able to have a group like that, a team like that come together. And then adding Chris to that too, and you know, and Riley and everyone else, it's like, and then you too, man. Like you've been a huge contributor to like why Thrash and Raid exploded as well.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just, it's crazy. And so like from that, we're constantly doing more events and just helping more people, just giving a bunch of decks away to kids. You got like $4,000 worth of decks, and you were giving those out to everybody. You know, the Do a Kickflip, Operation Do a Kickflip. We went to Camp Pendleton. We went to San Diego, Orange County, LA, everywhere, giving out decks. And then we did another Shred the Trend event. And that second Shred the Trend event had over double the amount of people. Last time we had 400. This one we had almost 1,000. And we had the Aquabats play.
Yep.
And dude, insane.
Yeah.
Right? Because I remember being, I just remember being a kid liking the Aquabats, and then I remember being in the military and just like going to their shows and just like taking the family there. And I never thought in a million years that I would become friends, and you know, with Christian and seeing that relationship build, and to where they would accept an offer to come out and play it at the event. And it's just, dude, it blows my mind.
Yeah.
You know, and then Steve Caballero's band, Urethane,
Yep.
playing, and then OC Ramps sponsoring the event, Grinders coming out. Dude, it was amazing. You know, and then people jumping over your limo,
Dude.
like like Mike Burtis, you know, and Miller, dude, that was so sick. Yeah,
Dude, and it was a hell of a year. You're right. The year was packed, jam packed, and it was safe to say, dude, we were doing it, right?
Yeah.
So like, defense strategies. So DSG, Thrash Raid, OG Pumpkin, everything's great.
yeah,
And in the last podcast, we actually talked about, I talked about with Ryan, the ups and downs of being a businessman and some of the struggles that DSG faced. Like, right, we had a killer first quarter, right? We trained so many three-letter agencies, SWAT teams, sheriffs, OC, LA, a bunch of PDs, famous people, rich people that roll up in a fucking $1 million car and they're like, yeah, it's cool, but I don't like that color, so I might get another one.
Yeah.
And you're like, what the fuck?
yeah, dude.
You know, and so it was a great first quarter, and then they stole the fucking trailer full of, you know, $25,000 worth of gear.
Yeah,
And then Mike's personal items from deployments that he fucking loved, right? And then I talked about gambling. The money had saved up, and Ellie was like, I don't want to work during the summer.
Yeah.
You know, or should I work during the summer? And I'm like, don't work during the summer. Let's enjoy the summer.
Yeah.
And then I made the executive, at the time, seemed like a smart executive decision to be like, you know, all this money we have saved up, how about we don't just use it to get through the summer? How about we buy a bunch of stuff, and then we make money with our money?
Yeah.
And Ryan and I were trying to add up how much money it was, and then I just stopped because I'm like, it just makes me more bummed out, dude. Like, first it was like, okay, I ordered shorts, this rash guard and this design and that design, short sleeve, long sleeve, shirts, and it went from, okay, this was worth $8,000, and then now 12, 23, 24, and I got to like 32, and then I was like, I'm just gonna stop because none of that was being moved.
Yeah.
Why? Because I started getting shadow banned.
Yeah.
They took my account, and I went from having an average of every Friday and Saturday was $1,000 a day.
Yeah.
Weekly, it was about $300. So that's why how OG Pumpkin last year was, we did like 8 vehicle ranges, something like that. It was just fucking, and trying to make it more fun and silly and dumb, you know, like it was, the more I can get away with, the more I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do like, yo, let's get a band here.
Yeah.
Let's get the taco guy.
Yeah.
You know, let me bring in lowriders so we can make them jump.
Yeah.
You know, let's do a fucking art contest. Let's have a massage
Yeah.
therapist at
That was
the
so awesome.
range
Yeah.
with the taco guy and the band.
Yeah.
And I was just trying to make it as fun as possible for everybody.
Yeah.
And there's these highs, and then this low came. And well, that's about being a businessman, right? Of not having a 9 to 5 and gambling and struggling. There's ups and downs.
Yeah.
And you faced something that at the time, to be honest, I didn't think it was going to be a big deal.
Dude. No.
What happened?
Dude, so, and I just want to speak to the point that you made about, before I get into that, about just the ups and downs and just gambling, right? Like, it is a gamble. Being an entrepreneur it's tough. And I think a lot of people go into it for different reasons. I think you went into it for genuine reasons. I think I went into being an entrepreneur for genuine reasons. And the reason for me was I wanted to be home. I wanted to be available, have time wealth.
Yep.
Now, have I made a lot of mistakes with that time wealth? Oh, absolutely. Because I'm like, I'm seeing the growth and I'm seeing things happen. And I'm like, the whole purpose to why I chose this path was to spend more time with my family. And now that I have this time, I'm like, I'm seeing the business grow, and I'm like, I need to spend more time in it because I'm seeing the fruit of the labor, right? And so, I always said I want to plan work around my life and not life around my work.
Yep.
Right. And so there's times when sales are down and shit is just like, it's tough. And it always happened in a time when I was like, oh man, I cannot wait for this new drop. I'm going to release this. This is going to be the shit. People are going to be it's going to fly off the shelves.
Yeah.
Right. And I put it out and I'm like waiting. I'm like, here come the sales. And then it's like nothing for hours. And I'm like, well, maybe I just didn't put the ad out right or whatever. And then I release it another time and I put the stories out. Nothing. Dude, there was products that I put out that didn't sell for a week or more.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh fuck, and I just invested the money into it and I'm like, man, this is tough, but those are things you learn from and learn how to just navigate through and with the shadow banning thing, it's tough to deal with the constraints of social media and relying on another platform to be able to put your voice out for you.
Yeah.
Right. And so I was like, okay, well, how can I look for other ways to not just put my eggs in one basket and Instagram? How can I branch out to YouTube and TikTok and all these other ones? And then I think just the in-person events, you and I feel do a fairly good job at that, of just being around people, right? And not being just that social media warrior that's just only putting your stuff out there.
Yep.
But with all that said, with all those challenges, there's times when I would be on LinkedIn and I would see jobs, and I'm like, I kind of want to apply for this job.
Yeah.
I want financial security. I hate just this up and down, and then not knowing when money was going to come in or if it was going to come in, and then maxing out a card just to and I'm like, don't worry, this is going to work.
Yeah.
And then it doesn't. And then I'm scrambling to do work with DSG just to pay that off. And then, to be able to pay for the things that we're able to do. And I think that's what makes it so frustrating when with this other thing that happened with getting that cease and desist, that's what makes it the most frustrating, is because Thrash and Raid wasn't my side project. It wasn't something that I was like, oh, I'm just going to dabble this hobby and make this my side thing, and then I'm doing everything else as my full-time job, right?
Yeah.
It was my life. I put my heart and soul and everything into this, and then one day we get this email saying, hey, we want to talk about your name and and work out something. And when I saw that, I was like, they want me to change my name. And I was like, I'm going to fucking ignore it.
Yeah.
Whatever, right? I was like, I'm just going to brush it off. And then their lawyer hit me up, and I was like, oh, okay, they mean business. Their lawyers hitting me up, and I just remember thinking, like, you got to be kidding me, you know? Like, we spent 2 years in relative harmony, coexisting.
Yep.
Why now, right? And so, was I angry? Fuck yeah, I was angry. And I called a bunch of people and I said I wanted some advice, because what I wanted to do was just be like, fuck you, I'm gonna keep doing my thing. But I wanted to get perspective from people that have been there, that have done it, that have been successful, that have gone through similar things. So I called other business owners in the skateboarding industry. I called people that were just fellow veterans, you know, and I just wanted to just get different perspectives, so I'm not just thinking inside my own like echo chamber. Because from my team, people on the team were like, yeah, fuck them, this and that, whatever. And I said, hey guys, like, don't say anything about this. Let's keep it just in-house. We're not going to blast it out. And for months, people didn't know this was happening, right? Like, I mean, you knew because I talked to you, but for like most of Instagram and all the people that follow us, they didn't know that this was all happening, right? And like, we're going through the name change now, but all this was happening months ago, right? All this behind the scenes.
Well, you're doing retreats for veterans, flying them out, showing them a killer time, kicking it with, you know, meeting Jamie Thomas, Man Ramp, Tony Hawk, doing all of this, doing small events, and bringing the same energy that I've seen you bring with Shred the Trend when there's 800 people, and then when we literally make a parking lot to a skate park and there's only like 8 people, right? With that same energy, doing all this, and then this popped up. So that's what I remember when I first heard it. I remember thinking like just brushing it off, like whatever.
Yeah. And that was actually most of the advice that a lot of these business owners gave me. And I'm not talking like small business owners. I'm talking like guys that have been in the industry for years, like 20 plus years, that told me like, ignore it. Like, I've been through this. Let me see. Okay, it's I could see where there might be some confusion, but it's not enough to like really cause any issues, or like, I would just ignore it.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, okay. And that's what I did. I was like, hey, I don't agree. I'm going to ignore it, whatever. And then I just kept on, I wouldn't hear an answer for like a week or two. And I'm like, okay, cool. It's all good. And then boom, I'd hear another answer like, nope, not good enough, this and that. And I'm like, bro. And I remember like talking to my lawyer and being like, man, I thought this was done. I hadn't heard anything for a couple of weeks. I thought everything was good. And I was like, I just want to be done with it. And that's when lawyer fees started coming in, you know? And I was like, man, I could be spending these thousands of dollars on product and on promotion and on growing the business and on everything else. But instead I'm spending it on this just to deal with something so petty as like the name.
Yeah.
Right. And then from there, a meme account started. Right. And the other company, you know, they said that they're not part of it, and so I'm just going to give them the benefit of the doubt. But what I will say is, whoever created it, it's so petty, right? And they started putting out stuff that was like just straight up. One, it was just bad memes, right? Like they're not even good. Like
and I like memes. So when I didn't go to the page, but I think somebody showed me some of the stuff, and I was like, as someone who likes memes, I was just like, this is poor quality.
It was just disappointing because, you know, if you're gonna make fun of me, at least like hit me with something good, you know. But some of them, there was one that I thought was funny, and the only one that I thought was funny was it was like the Dumb and Dumber, like it was like a scene where they're like, hey, you want to hear the most annoying sound in the world? And then it like showed a clip of me like, hey, what's up, everybody? And then and that was it, because that's how I start a lot of my videos. I'm like, hey, what's up, everyone?
I didn't see that one.
And I laughed at that. I was like, damn, that's pretty funny, you know, like, but I laughed, but at the same time I was like, man, whoever this person is hates me that much to where like just hearing my voice, they're like, fuck that guy, you know? And so that's why I laughed, you know, but but then it started getting like just making claims that like we made our products in China and stuff like that, and then just saying like,
what is made in China?
Nothing. That's what I'm saying. None of our stuff's made in China. So that's why I was like, what the fuck are they talking about?
Yeah.
You know? And so to me, I was like, dude, that's defamation. Like, you're making false claims to try to do something to bring me down, right? So I was like, dude, who is this? Who is the person in this account? And the reason why I thought it was one of their guys and why I made this assumption is because there were some of their team members that I would always see watching our stories, right? So it's like, and which is funny because they were making claims that we were watching them. And then, but I dude, I have screenshots from my team as well. And I would tell my team, I'm like, do not even look at their page. Do not even go to that meme page. Do not go to whatever. And of course, like, they're still going anyways, you know, and then they would send me something like, oh, did you see what they put? And I'm like, guys, stop fucking going to their stuff. Like, stop wasting your energy looking at that negative shit, because it's not doing us any good. I was like, I want to focus on us like we have been. Right? I'm not copying anybody else. Now was the thing that pissed me off the most, is them making those claims that we copied them, that we stole their business model, or that, you know, whatever. And I was like,
and that's when it caught my attention, because I remember thinking, look, there's nobody in the veteran law enforcement community, because I'm pretty sure there's law enforcement skateboard companies. I wouldn't be surprised if there you know, was.
Well, Kickflips and Donuts, you know, they're a skate wax company, and the guy's a deputy out there in Arizona. Awesome dude. Yeah.
And I remember thinking, like, dude, who the fuck else is hosting retreats, taking them to all these people, not charging them, showing them a good time, you know, giving out boards, giving out shirts, literally. Look, man, the fucking war on PTSD and depression for veterans it's fucking failed, all right? Because the pills ain't working. And you know what is working? Community work and being out there in person. So when I see you doing that day in and day out, and then I've known you for a long time, and never have I heard anything like, oh, fucking, let's steal this, let's copy this, let's do that. That's when it caught my attention. And that's when I was like, that's when I started laughing. And then that's when I started getting upset. Because, bro, you're a fucking MARSOC Raider, right? Whether people like it or not, there's levels within the military, and there's levels with how veterans want to listen, right? If it's the sad truth, but like if you're a fucking supply guy and you're out there trying to talk to somebody, as soon as they find out that you're a supply guy, they think of something. But if you're a MARSOC Raider and you're like, hey, man, you're out, you probably need community. You probably need to align yourself with good people, not self-destruct and rise above your barriers. They're more willing to listen, right?
Yeah.
That's just how it goes.
Yeah.
I'm like, so who else is fucking doing this? Because everyone knows I'm a big supporter of companies. So I never saw any of that, of you stealing.
Yeah, dude. And I think that's what made me the most upset, is because of how much time and like what I was talking about, that time wealth. Like, I put so much into this, dude. Like, to where, like I said, man, it wasn't a side project. It was, I put everything I had into this thing.
Oh, and I saw it.
And then with the 6 feet above thing too, is that if this was about money, I could do a fucking ton of other shit and sell myself for fucking money if I want to. Like, being a special operator with a fucking MBA from USC, I could get a job and doing a whole bunch of stuff if I wanted money.
Which if I had to tell you not to do.
Yeah, exactly. Because I was like, dude, I have this offer. I could do this job.
Yeah.
And I was like, but I got to stick to this. I want to do this because I believe in it, because it's making a difference. It's making an impact. And then I'm doing this, and then I'm volunteering my time with 6 feet above. If I wanted to make money, I wouldn't have spent hours and days of my life doing that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so that's what like just angered me. And then like one of the last things that was posted on that meme page was like saying that 6 feet above copied that brand too. And I'm like, are you fucking serious, dude? Like, and you know, and I was just, what I wanted to do, and I'm not going to say like, people are like, oh man, you're such a good person. Like, you're so genuine and good. You know what? I portray that, and I show people like, yes, I am a good person, and I'm trying to do good things for others, and I want to help people. but I have to work hard at that. And that's what people don't understand is that positivity, that hardcore positivity, that, you know, mental toughness and all that stuff. Like, I still work hard at it. It's not like it just comes naturally, like out of nowhere. I'm just like, man, I'm fucking feeling great. And I wake up just like, you know, just feeling good, like, you know, dancing on sunshine. Like, dude, I work hard every single day at convincing myself to stay positive and to rise above barriers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because, like, what I wanted to do when I saw that, I wanted to find those people and I wanted to fucking kill them.
Yeah.
I did. I was like, dude, fuck these guys. I want them fucking dead.
Yeah.
You know, and dude, I'm getting fucking heated. But I'll tell you what, like, dude, there's times where I want to quit. And I'm like, I'm done with this. I don't want to fucking help vets anymore because people take me for granted.
Yeah.
They take my kindness for granted. They take my positivity for granted. And like people that have come to our retreats, there's literally people that came to our retreats, did our shit, heard our story. They fucking ate the food, got the plane ticket, did all this stuff, left, and then we're part of that group talking shit, supporting that page.
Yeah.
You know, all that shit that to defame me and bring me down. And I was like, fuck you, dude. We did all this stuff for you, and that's how you repay us, is by believing that shit over the you've gotten to know me, hear my story, all that stuff personally. I was like, fuck them. I wanted to fucking kill those people.
And it's people like that make other companies not want to do this. Because
yeah, exactly.
Because if this is happening to you and it's happened to me, it's had to happen to other nonprofits, to other companies, and then sadly sometimes I'll get messages like, oh yeah, man, I don't have a company or anything, but you know, I would do events. He wouldn't say events, but I would get-togethers and like share beers and be friends with these guys, and then, you know, the dude fucked me over because A, B, and C. And within the community, we have bad apples. Just because you were in the military does not make you a good person. Just because you're a veteran doesn't mean you're a good person. And I've had people show up to the Vehicles and Tacos. So the people who, if for whatever reason they don't even know what Vehicles and Tacos is I buy the vehicles, I get a taco guy, and we shoo into from the vehicles. I've had people show up, not even come up to me and say hi, take a bunch of videos and pictures of shooting inside the car, outside the car, around the car, eating the tacos, doing the selfies, going back, and then not even tagging OG Pumpkin to just show like, hey, look, somebody's doing this for veterans for free. Nothing, just like, yo, check me out.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, dude, and that's a frustrating part, and it makes me angry, and this is the first time I've ever like expressed this to people outside the team. Obviously, I've expressed this to Logan and Chris, but for all the viewers and people that know me on Thrash Raid, like, I've never mentioned that I fucking was that angry and I was that pissed about something. And to be honest, I wanted to stop 6 feet above. I was like, you know what? Like, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to waste my time doing stuff for others if this is how I get treated. Yeah. And this is how people that went to our stuff, they're going to support something like that, you know? And those are some thoughts I had. But like I said, I battle that. I battle those thoughts, and I battle my negativity, because that negative bus, that shit will take you down. All it takes is one negative thought or one negative person in your group to just try to drive that just everything that you're doing down. Yeah.
And you can't let them win.
Exactly.
And this is where you can't let them win. And then I told you from day one about that meme page. Yeah. Stop looking at the meme page. Yeah. And you keep fucking looking at it, and you can't help it. Dude,
I couldn't help it because I got my damn team sending me them. Like, there's like sending in the group chat, and they're like, dude, look at this one. And I'm like, and I'm like, guys, I'm like, stop. Focus on us. Focus on the mission. Yeah. And of course, like, I try not to let it bother me, right? But like I said, I battle this. I battle these negative thoughts, and I'm trying to stay positive, and I'm trying to be a positive leader for my team too. Yeah. And show people like, guys, we could get through this. We could get through anything. Like, look at the stuff that we've done. Look at the stuff that we've accomplished. Like, our future is great. Like, we're gonna do amazing things after this, right? Like, this is just one barrier, and I'm preaching for people to rise above their barriers. Like, we're gonna show them by example. Like, we're gonna rise above this. But I'll be a liar to say that all that stuff didn't affect me. Like, when people, I knew, like, the more the exposure that I'd have, I would have more haters, right? That's just not everyone's going to like you. So I know that like as we grow, the haters will grow too, right? Even though it's going to be a smaller percentage, most of the haters I've had, they'll say some dumb stuff, right? Like just call the company trash and whatever else, and make fun. Some things that people said were funny.
Yeah.
Like someone called us like the Dollar General of skateboarding, and then and then someone was like, "Hey, I didn't know Walmart combined their gun section with their skateboard section and stuff." Like they said dumb stuff, but someone said I had the most punchable face they've ever seen, things like that. But like things that are like really personal, or just talk crap about, saying that I copied someone or saying I did something that is just like blatantly just untrue. I try not to take it personally, but deep down I'm like, dude, like I don't want to do this anymore. I could easily make a lot more money doing something else and putting the skills that I've acquired from my military career, from my time in school. I could apply that doing something else and be selfish and just make myself money and provide a better life for my family.
Yeah.
Instead of scraping by every single month, fucking barely paying for shit. Yeah, I'm giving away $1,000 out of TNR's cash for Cash for Tricks at OC Ramps. Or I'm giving out boards and boards and boards every single month to these kids that need it, when I could just be like, no, you know what? I'm going to take those and I'm just going to keep them to myself and I'm going to sell it for profit.
Yep.
Right? Like I could easily do that. And so that's what makes it frustrating, is that like, and I'm not gonna sugarcoat it, dude. Like there was nights where I was like just fucking like crying but like by myself. Like I would like be like, hey guys, I'm going on a meeting or something, and I'd be in the garage and I'm like fucking crying, and I'm like, fuck, dude, I'm getting emotional now, but like, dude, I'd seriously be stressed. Like, dude, I don't know how I'm gonna provide for my family.
Yeah.
I don't know how I'm gonna. And here, like, my kids got to go to school. Like, go to daycare, and like my wife's doing the whole kidney thing, like with you, which we'll get into later. But I was like those are the times I want to quit. Like everything. I'm like, fuck, dude. I'm like, how did I get here? I'm like, I'm doing all the right things.
Yeah.
I'm doing all the right things, and it's all going to shit.
I think it's part of the journey, because everyone that I've talked to, who as people come and help me with OG Pumpkin, and I sit down and I talk to them, and they'll tell me things like, like this was never meant to be about money. It's always been about the group. They don't use the word community. I think it's more of a law enforcement military thing, but it was more about just the dudes. And then there was ups and downs. And then some of the guys who I talked to, they're like, yeah, man, at one point I was almost $1 million in debt. And just being like, I should just fucking quit. And then now it's ups and downs like this. It's the journey, right? We just talked about the journey with the military guys and how we miss it. Dude, there's been days in the military that were tough and that were low. And usually it surrounds about dudes getting hurt or dudes dying, but that's part of the journey. And I think being an entrepreneur, specifically for people like us, we're used to always riding it high, right? Special operations, dude, you're the best of the best. And then now here, when you put all your time and energy, just as you did in the special operations community, and it led you to be to the top. Yeah. Now that energy for A, B, and C, just that work and energy doesn't produce the results that we saw in that community. And I think that's what makes entrepreneurship a lot more difficult.
Dude, it does, man. But I'll tell you, it's a give and take, man. Because like, what it doesn't produce is the income up front for sure.
It doesn't.
Because like, I don't know what people think. Like, I'm just like, these tiers that I'm just gonna take a big stack of money and fucking wipe them later. Because that's not the case at all. But no
correction. Like, there are some days that there is that money, but you know what you do all the time, and I've seen it. I've seen you make a lot of money and be like, let's just throw events and give boards away.
Yeah, dude, because I do that because I'm like, I realize that relationships are more important than
100%,
the material stuff we had, and that's what I was getting at, is that like, I might not have the money, but I have all these people that I've met and all these people that that support us, and all these people that I never thought that I would know and come to just.
It's undeniable, bro.
Yeah.
Your work in the veteran community and now spreading, being rooted in the skateboarding world, it's undeniable. And somebody messaged me not that long ago. They're like, "Hey, I see that they messaged the OG Pumpkin page. They're like, I see that you and thrashing rate have moved up so fast. I'm getting ready to get out of the military. I want to start a company. What is your strategy? What is your? They wanted the
secret,
the secrets, and I literally told them I was like, it's a lot that I can write, but it's actually quite simple. We just throw as much events as possible, and the more money we make, the more events we make, and have make personal connections with people, and hopefully some of those turn into friendships.
Yeah.
And then I just sent it. They were probably like, this ain't making me money.
Yeah, because people don't realize like those events and the things that we do. It takes a lot of time, effort, and money, and but it's so rewarding because the people that we've met and that we've been able to connect with and do things for, it's invaluable. Because like at the end of the day, when I'm on my deathbed, I don't want to be surrounded by a bunch of stuff, right? Or to be like, man, I wish I would have worked harder to whatever. I want to be able to say, I'm glad that I impacted the people around me. I'm glad that I made relationships with people that matter.
Yeah, 100%.
Right? And and that includes my family. And I'd also be a liar to say that I've done everything right. Like I'm like the best family man in the world, and I've made selfish decisions from my time in the military, outside the military, and like, dude, I've cheated on my wife, I've neglected my kids, I've done all sorts of like the worst things possible. So when people are like, "Oh, Benji's such a good guy," no, I don't think so. Like I think I've been a terrible husband, a terrible father, a terrible businessman, a terrible just a lot of things. But and I don't know if that's. I think just coming to that realization, like, and I think that's why I battle those thoughts when I say like, man, fuck those people and all this stuff, because I look at myself and say, well, Benji, like, you haven't always been the best guy, and every single person has flaws, and every single person deserves to be forgiven if they ask for forgiveness. You know what I mean? And for me, I've been forgiven, and I've been blessed with so many things that I don't deserve, that I think, well, you know what? Like, I would want to be treated, I don't know, I'd want to be treated with respect regardless of what I've done and who I am. And so if someone's still a piece of shit, I'm not going to go out of my way to harm anybody or to belittle that person or to, whatever.
Yeah.
Right. And so when all this negative stuff was happening, all this negative energy was happening, I was like, I want to focus on the good stuff. I'm not going to engage and just add more fuel to the fire. Right. And so for me, I was like, if I have to change the name, and if I have to change what Thrashing Rate is, that's all it is. It's a name.
Yeah.
Right. And if we were Silly Goose Skate Company, like, I don't know, that's kind of a cool name.
That sounds like cool.
Silly
Goose.
So maybe I should trademark that, but but if I was Silly Goose Skate Company, and then we, we're just out there still being our silly goose selves and being a bunch of goobers like we are, like, we'd still grow. Right.
100%. Because it's not, dude, it is. And I told you this, it's not your name that people are following. It's what you guys stand for. It's the human interactions and connections that you've made, which is why people follow you, man. But with the whole social media thing, dude, you're always gonna get hate, guys. It's the in person that matters the most. That's why I never go back and forth with anybody. I don't care what anybody posts.
Yeah.
I don't care what anybody comments. I usually type back, "I love you," because I just think it's funny, or I don't, or I hit them with the heart like, and then the pumpkin emoji, or because, dude, I want to be as positive as possible, right? But I am still my old ways in a lot of ways, right? So, and sometimes I don't want to say I love you, and sometimes I don't want to hit the heart. I always tell them, I'm not that hard to find. And I always type Classic because I'm always at Classic. I'm like, I'm not hard to find. I'm at Classic 5 to 6 days a week. Come up.
Yeah.
And no one's ever shown up. And I don't think most people will. But in my head, anytime I say something like that, I imagine somebody will.
Yeah.
So I'm ready. But there's a big problem in the veteran community is where, and in the world in general, but speaking for something that we're involved in, that they can say and do whatever they want without repercussions. The veteran community is not that big, and chances are high that I'm gonna have to use somebody as an example, and because your words and everything count. Whatever you do, because that's what it is. That's the age we live in now. Social media and the outside world are one thing, right?
Yeah.
Or at least I count it. If you're an asshole on social media and I see you in person, more likely I'll probably ignore it and wait until you do some action. But I'm not perfect, and I might be like, dude, I remember. So now this is why I'm gonna do A, B, and C, and that would always happen in real life. Because when I was young and before the military, dude, anytime somebody did something to disrespect that I found disrespectful towards my friends, myself, if you're gonna disrespect my friend, you're disrespecting me, because that's how the gang life works. And all the people would always say the same thing as I'm literally beating them. They're like, just because I did this, just because I did that. And I'm like, yes, man, it's the principle. Or they'll be like, it wasn't personal. And I would always be like, dude, you're a person, I'm a person. It's personal. And I remember, I'll never forget, somebody they were egging people's houses. This is in high school, right? And I'm a gang member selling guns and drugs, and somebody egged, which at the time was my girlfriend's house, and because everybody thought it'd be funny, let's egg all these girls' houses or whatever. And I found the guy, and I kicked his ass, and then I pointed at him and I was like, look, man, and he has his friends, I have my friends, like, it's over, dude. I kicked your ass, right? But now I'm gonna jump you based on principle, because I don't want you running around being like, these dudes jumped me. He's afraid of one-on-one. No, I kicked your ass. It's over. Now you're gonna get jumped. And so then we jumped him. So not only did I fuck him up, we then jumped him, and I was stomping his face, and he fell down, and I just kept kicking him, and I didn't know, but I broke the smaller bone on his arm, because he was protecting his face, because I was just stomping on it, and then his sister got all fucking upset, and their friends got upset, and they were like, just because they did this. And I'm like, look, people live in this fantasy world where they think they can say and do whatever, and the repercussions of it, there are none.
Yeah.
But in reality, in this world, is the repercussions are as far as the other side is willing to go.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
And so, and then going back to the veteran community, that guy, Travis Raids, right? He came to events. He made thousands of dollars of money off the veteran community. I've literally been in conferences where we were going to work on projects, and people know the companies he was involved with, where I was supposedly going to be on the project. They kicked me out the project and said, we'll go with him and this person, that person. Hey, man, I'm not fucking 6 feet tall, super jacked. I get it. I know what looks better on fucking camera. I'll never work with those companies based off of those principles. One of them even reached out, and they're like, are you sure? And I was like, yeah. They're like, well, if you ever change your mind, the offer's always there. That's kind. Maybe I will change my mind, but most likely not, man, because I remember them going with that person. But if I ever see him in person, and I've seen him shoot, he's a good shooter. I hope, if I'm gonna fuck him up, dude, because I know he's super strong. Like, he works out, but I strength, pumping iron does not mean you have a fight IQ and you're willing to fucking throw blows and whatever else they want to do. People like that I'll have a fucking grudge, because you came into this community, you fucking, and he did bad shit, right? It makes people not want to trust people. So when I see that happening to you, it makes good people like you not want to fucking continue this work, right?
Yeah, and I understand like where the frustrations come from, and part of me, I'm like, you know, the deep within me, I'm like, yeah, man, fuck them up. And I'm like, you know, and like some of these people just deserve just the work, you know, and that's just like the operator in me, like telling myself this, right? Like, you know, eye for an eye, tooth for tooth. But there's also something in me that's saying, man, just let it go and just, you know, just don't even worry about it. Because I think, to me, I feel more sad for him now than I think back on it. I'm like, man, that guy has an issue, like an identity crisis issue. And I think a lot of men do. A lot of men have this identity crisis where they feel like they need to portray that they're like super tough and that they're like, you know what? And that's why I wanted TNR to be different, right? I wanted us to be goofy.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, like,
Thank you.
If I don't tell someone that I'm a special operator, that I was a raider, like a lot of people didn't know that, right?
Yeah.
And people are like, oh, he was in special operations. That's cool, right? And I wanted our company to be goofball, like good stuff for the community, all that stuff first up front. And if they found out I was a special operator, then that's cool. I didn't want to put that up front. Like, this is a special operations ran company and we're fucking like badass, right?
And that's what I liked about you. I told you, because I remember in my military career, there was points where I was just that went away from me. Like that being silly, goofing off and laughing, it went away. And I was just so fucking serious and so everything. And the world isn't fucking that. That's why I liked your company, because one, I know you're physically, mentally strong, but you're not walking around puffing fucking your chest out and causing trouble. You're out there having a good time being goofy.
And it's usually the people that have to prove that, like, look how badass I am, look how fucking angry and tough I am and all this stuff. Like, you are some of the most insecure people on this planet right now, because you have to constantly prove every single day like how tough you are and how you need to, you know, and a lot of times, like you said, like Travis raids, unfortunately, like, it's people that are not who they say they are, right? Like they never were. And I'll say this too, like, it doesn't matter if you were special operations or not, just fucking be yourself. Like, we're friends with a ton of people that, like, one, never been in the military, or if they were in the military, they were like ultra pogue or something. And like, they're some of the coolest guys I've ever met. And we used to have this saying at MARSOC that was, doesn't matter what you do or what you did for the teams yesterday, it's all about what you do for the teams today. And there were guys that had Bronze Stars. There were guys that had Navy Crosses. There was guys that, like, just were the most badass dudes on this planet. But if they fucked up, like, you fucked up. You know, you're not like, oh, well, don't worry about him. He has a Bronze Star. You know, or like, oh no, do you remember all the good stuff he did before? It's like, no, what have you done for the teams today? And so for me, it's like, I wanted to not necessarily bury completely, but I just didn't want to have to constantly display myself as like this badass special operations guy. And every once in a while, of course, I'm going to, like, because that's who I was, right? It's like a piece of me. That's just one chapter of my book. So of course I'm going to, like, highlight that chapter, just like I'll highlight chapters from my teenage years as learning points for people. And I'm sure, like, another 10 years, I'm going to be highlighting things from today, right? And I think it's important to not constantly live in the past, right? And I think a lot of veterans suffer with that, and they get this weird, like, identity crisis where they feel like, I constantly have to show everybody that especially, I don't know. I see this, maybe it's because I was a Marine and maybe I'm biased and I see it more often. It's like when you buy a red car and you haven't seen it around, and then finally once you have it, now you see them everywhere, right? I think it's like that, where I got out and now I see all these Marines that it's like, you know, not as mean, not as lean, still a gyrene, and like they just, like, they can't let go of who they were. And it's like, bro, you've been out for 30 years and, like, your whole identity is wrapped around being a Marine. It's like that, what you did was amazing, but you could move on past that. It's not your whole identity. Like, there's more life after the military. And a lot of people suffer and have mental issues because they can't let go of those things, right? And I think this guy, like Travis Raids, I think he's got, like, just something where he had to prove himself. And it's like, bro, you don't need to prove yourself. You're a badass shot. You fucking, you're a fairly good looking dude, and you work out and you're tough. Like, you don't have to say that you were a special operator.
If he would have just been himself, that dude would have been okay, but he just decided to take it up a step further, which now gives him the green light. Because I know a bunch of special operation guys who want to kick his ass and
Oh,
non-special
yeah.
operation guys. But to your point, dude, like, dude, some of the closest people in my life, I've never served in the military. Ryan's being one of them, or if they were in the military. My friend Eric, he was a regular Marine, right? But everything him and I have ever done together, he's beat me.
Yeah.
He ran a marathon, he beat me.
Yeah.
We hiked 24 miles, and the elevation, I think it was like elevation gained. I think it was like 12,000 feet.
Oh, you did San Jacinto probably
Yeah.
from Cactus to Clouds?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like 11,000.
The last 4 miles up to the peak, he basically emotionally carried me.
Yeah.
You know, when we go fucking lift, if I go lift A, B, whatever, he does it higher. Like everything, he's beat me in everything.
Yeah.
And you know, he's a regular Marine. So this whole thing of you being in special operations or whatever, what I hate the most is when I see special operation guys and then they just fucking let themselves go. I'm like,
Dude.
bro, you used to be a Greek god. Now you're fucking soft. and not just soft, dude. Even regular forces will say, I'll hear them say some shit like, oh, I'm not waking up at 5 a.m. to go fucking run. Well, no
Dude.
one's telling you got to go run. We're
Yeah.
just saying you left this world where physical fitness and mental strength matters, and then now you come out here and you're getting all soft, and then you're like, dude, you're bumming me out, man.
Yeah, and I said this yesterday. I was saying this to Kodiak and Mike. I was like, you know, I always ask myself, if I were to go to selection today,
Yeah.
would I be able to pass it? And I think mentally, absolutely. Physically, I'd be at the breaking point where I think, oh, I could hang for several days. But I think like because I'm not doing the recovery and I'm not doing the things that I
Yeah.
did before, like I probably would wash out because of injury, because I'd be pushing myself because I'm not physically ready, and that's a problem. And so like Mike and I talked about this yesterday when we were on this, we were on that grueling, you know, run, swim, run we did.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, we need to like just get back in it, because this is like a wake up call for us, because we were like, we don't need to train. We'll just tough it out. And we did. We toughed it out.
Yeah.
But we also paid the price because we were like, this is brutal, right? But I'll tell you what, like I agree with you. I hate when guys, you know, and gals, like they get out and they're like, well, I'm done and I don't need to be, and I'm not saying like be a physical specimen at all times, but at least take care of yourself.
Yeah.
At least live like a healthy lifestyle. At least do something where you're not just totally just letting yourself go. Because like you said, like there's guys that used to be like Greek gods, and then they get out and they're just like, they look like, you know, an overweight like bus driver.
Yeah.
Right. And you're like, bro, what happened to you, man? And I think a lot of that too is the mindset.
100%. And I get it. Your body hurts. My fucking body hurts too. But
Yeah.
there's things that you can do to improve your overall like level of pain, right? Like for example, dude, I used to have serious fucking back problems where I would have a pillow in my car, and I
Yeah.
remember thinking like, this is life now. Like I just have a bad back, you know?
Yeah.
This is what. And then I was like, no, this can't be it. There has to be fucking something.
Yeah.
And then you know what I started doing? Yoga style stretches.
Yeah.
Decompression. I changed up my nutrition. I did physical therapy, in which I know some of the physical therapy exercises people might be like, this is very easy or lightweight, or this doesn't make sense. How's it
Yeah.
even helping me? But it does. And then I went to go see a strength and conditioning coach and build myself up. Dude, I don't have back problems anymore. I'm not
Yeah.
putting a pillow in my car. And I know a lot of dudes who are like, I got bad backs. And I'm like, and I know you're not working at it.
Yeah.
Like, bro, you have to fucking work at it. Your quality of life is not going to improve. And this applies also with mental health. Like, yo, dude, if you're struggling through PTSD, anxiety, can't sleep, you have to fucking work at it.
Yeah.
And which is a reason why, I started doing this podcast, so we can talk about these things, not just me, but other individuals, so they can also be like, hey, I tell their story. So, okay, don't listen to fucking me, but listen to Benji.
Dude, and you hit so many points, dude. Like, people love to make excuses, to include myself. Like I've made excuses, and then I'll catch myself. I'm like, Benji, is this an excuse, or are you really making the sacrifices necessary
Yeah.
to achieve the result that you want to achieve? Because oftentimes it's the sacrifice, right? There's a lot of people that are like, they blame their outside environment, they say, well, it's because of this happened and this happened to me and this and this and this, right? And you're like, well, what did you do?
Yeah.
It's like, well, I tried everything. And you're like, did you? Because if we break down your day, we were to be like, all right, let's break down your day for a couple of weeks and just see what you do.
Yeah.
And I will guarantee you I could find all those flaws. If I was a consulting agency and I was going through your life, I'd be able to pick out those things. And oftentimes it's nutrition, right? It's the lack of stretching. It's the lack of, well, just exercise in general. It's the things that they consume, not just the eating, but like the TV, people ask me oftentimes, they're like, hey, have you seen this one show or have you watched this movie? And I'm like, no, I haven't.
Yeah.
I haven't watched that show. I haven't watched that movie. And they're like, oh, you got to watch it, this and that. But you know what? And then they ask me, oh, how did you become so successful with your business doing this, this, and this? And I'm like, well, because all that time that I would have spent watching that TV show and doing this, instead, I'm making my business better, or I'm making this better. I'm reading this book on how to become better, or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know how to take these little things out of my life. I don't play video games. People are like, oh, you don't play Modern Warfare or whatever the video game is. I'm like, no, I don't. And I'm not going to waste my time watching a Twitch either of someone else playing a video game.
Dude.
Like, I don't know, man. And to each their own. Like, people like that and they got to numb out every once in a while. Like, there's things I numb out on too. I like playing music and I'll numb myself out on that. Or skating, right? Like, but to me, when I skate, I feel like that's my biggest time waster is me skating, but that does a lot for me, right? That's therapeutic for me.
Dude,
and it's exercise
you've
for me.
improved so much.
Dude,
I'm jealous.
Dude, I feel like I'm almost as good as I was when I was a teenager. I'm like almost there, and I'm like, I got to get there. But yeah, it's all these little excuses, and what people end up doing is that, let's say they make that change for a little bit. They're like, well, I tried stretching, and I tried exercising, and I tried this, and this. Well, how long did you try it for?
Yeah.
People try things for a couple of days, and they're like, nah, this ain't for me.
Yeah.
And then they stop, and then they're like, yeah, it doesn't work.
Doesn't work. I tried everything.
Yeah.
Dude, but before I forget, because I think it's very important to talk about this part too. If you want to talk about it,
Yeah, let's talk
What is
about
the
it.
fucking name change?
Oh,
what
no,
is the
no,
name?
no. I thought you were going to talk about something else.
No, the name. So what was the problem with your name? What's the problem with your name?
Oh, the name Raid.
So Raid, in my opinion, and this is why I also got fucking upset. Raid, and unfortunately, you even had to fucking deal with this. Is like a fucking skull, and the military and law enforcement community,
night
right?
vision.
How many fucking T-shirt companies are there, and non-companies, but just that groups made of a fucking skull and a rifle, right? Or a skull and knots.
Yeah.
They're fucking everywhere, right? And I'm not hating on them because some of those companies, I bought that fucking shirt because obviously it works. There's an attraction that we all have towards that look, right? I don't know how many fucking black shirts with white ink of a skull are in my fucking house, dude. But my wife tells me, stop buying shirts.
Yeah.
And I can't help it.
It's so cookie cutter, man. It's the cookie cutter veteran idea to be like, hey, I'm a vet. And then on top of that, being a special operations vet, you're like, black shirt, fucking skull with night vision, fucking right. Like, it's just not creative. And when I started,
So we love it though,
dude. When I started Thrash and Raid, like literally, I was like, oh, you know, it'd be cool to start a skate company, and I'll put a rifle on it because there's no military skate companies out there because unless you were like searching for military skate companies on Instagram, and at the time, like, I didn't know what to search for. And unless you saw it in a skate shop or you saw it in Thrasher magazine or whatever, you're like, I don't know what fucking small name businesses exist out there. Like, and I'm finding out now because of doing the name change, dude, every fucking name in the world is taken right now, to be honest. Like, all these names that were like, dude, this would be a cool name to have. And then you like search it up, you're like, some fucking asshole has it, right?
I think Silly Goose is still up.
Yeah, dude.
Or maybe not. Fuck.
I know. I bet you look it up right now. Silly Goose Skate Co. is probably taken. But here's the crazy thing is that I didn't look up, does Raid skateboards exist?
Yeah.
I was like, does Thrash and Raid exist, right? Didn't see it. I was like, cool, I'm gonna take it. So I bought the business name, fucking got the handle on Instagram, whatever, started going. Later found out that they existed. And so I was like, okay, well, that sucks. And then what sucked even more is that I was like, I hadn't put a deck out yet with a
Yeah.
gun on the deck, right?
Yeah.
But if you look, I don't know if I posted this or showed this before, but there's a drawing I made in the back of a composition notebook, and it was the first idea for Thrashing Raid, and it said thrash, and in the A for thrash, there was like an anarchy sign, you know, because it's like punk rock, you know?
Yeah.
And then I put and then raid at the bottom, but in the middle, I drew a skateboard, and then I put a MP5 across the board.
Yeah.
Right? And I was like, that'd be sick. Right? So I drew that, and I was like, that's my idea. And then I saw their company. I was like, what the fuck? They're putting guns across their board. I was like,
Yeah.
that sucks. You know, I was like, I was thinking of that. But then I also thought, well, every other, I was like, it's not creative. Every other fucking veteran, that's like immediately you think of that.
Yeah.
And I did the same thing. I put a skull out with nods and and it's like so
there's-
cookie cutter.
And there's so many companies out there with a fucking Grim Reaper skull or a rifle on there. And this is where my problem is, right? With one, the name. So about the first skateboard company I found out existed was Snake Farm. And I was like, fuck yeah, there's a skateboard company that is veterans. And I am pro.
And to be honest, I love that name. I loved Snake Farm. I thought it was a badass name.
I'm so pro veteran that it has helped me in a lot of ways, pro veteran companies. But it's also made me, at the time, I didn't like it, meet fucking sketchy people, learn life lessons, and be like, fuck, dude, like, okay. So that's why I feel like I'm going to learn more, but for where I'm at right now, I'm pretty well seasoned, because just all the bad things that could have happened from people within the veteran community, I've fucking seen it, you know, or it's happened to me. So when Snake Farm came up, I was like, fuck yeah, dude. I bought a board right away. And at that time, I wasn't really skating. I was just every now and then going out there and be like, let me see if I can still do a heel flip. Let me do a pop shove it. All right, I still got it, you know, but not really skating. And then, and then I met you, dude, and that made me want to skate even fucking more. And I've become a better skater. And then, but lately I haven't been skating that much. I need to get back to it. But dude, there have been tricks that I've never fucking thought I learned, and I learned it with you guys, and it's having a fucking blast being part of everything that you guys are doing. So when I heard the name Raid, the problem is Raid. Like, Raid, I've seen Raid on so many fucking companies, and if you have Raid in your company, you better be a fucking raider. Like, not Marsoc raider, but like doing the fucking damn thing, right? And if you have special operation firearms, rifles on your boards or your shirts, you're not fucking telling people that you're special operations. But when you're within the community and selling shit with that rifle, you're basically implying, and you're fooling a lot of people. So when I saw that Raid company existed, I thought they were all SEALs. I'm like, yo, look at the fucking rifles. Regular forces don't have these rifles. These dudes are fucking SEALs. And what I got it confused is that at the same time I found out through forward observations, because I think they worked with them or they're friends with them, the Tribe.
Oh yeah, Tribe skate.
Tribe skateboards, or Tribe? Is it Tribe skateboard or just Tribe?
I don't know.
Either way,
but yeah, they're still.
I thought the Tribe, the boards that I was looking at through the Explorer on Instagram, I thought those rifles, because I was like, oh, the special operation rifles. There's that company Tribe. This is who Tribe is. So these are their boards. Oh, cool. And then when I found out that there was a different company called Raid Skateboards or Raid SB or whatever it is, I'm like, oh. My first thought was like, fucking see another group of SEALs made another fucking skateboard company. So now there's 2 SEAL skateboard companies, because unless I'm mistaken, I think Tribe they're SEALs, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, great. Now there's fucking, and I think Snake Farm is what, combat controllers?
Yeah. The owner.
Yeah. Okay.
Chad,
so in my head, I was like, okay, we got combat controllers, Air Force guys, 2 SEAL companies. I'm like, okay, but then
Special operation guys like skating, I guess.
I fooled. I got, and I've been fooled by other companies where I'm like, yo, dude, like this company has a special operations rifle on it. The fucking images on Instagram are fucking sick. The logos are sick. Everything is sick. These dudes must be fucking special operation guys. And you're not saying it, and they're not saying it. So I'm not saying these people are saying they're special operations. No, but you're basically fucking implying, and you're making a lot of money. And I know it. I know it because I've seen it firsthand. Because when I broke my foot in my last Muay Thai fight, I lost my fucking job. Was just delivering to dispensaries, right?
Yeah.
So I have a broken foot. I can't of course I'm gonna lose my job.
Yeah.
Can't even drive. So I started working at a printing shop, right? And there was a bunch of companies, veteran companies that were in there, and one of them was this fucking company. And I'm not gonna say the name because I don't want there to be any beef or whatever, but it is facts.
Yeah.
I saw special operation units, rifles in a in a veteran-run company, printing company that sells other veteran companies. So I was like, they're soft dudes, and it wasn't. It was them implying that, and they would make thousands of fucking dollars, and it turns out they weren't fucking that at all, right? So when I saw that, and I found out they weren't even special operation guys, I'm like, dude, that's being dishonest, in my opinion. Did you type it anywhere? No, you didn't. Are you saying it? No. Are you posting videos? No. But we both know what the fuck you're doing, okay? Because if I sell rash guards, right? And I've been selling a lot of fucking rash guards. And if I if I wasn't a martial artist at all, in my opinion, I'm being dishonest.
Yeah.
I entered the martial arts world.
Yeah.
I don't even compete or fight, and I'm fucking selling fucking things and making this shit. So that's what upset me. Do they have special operation guys who are now maybe their friends or have bought their stuff and taking cool pictures for them? Fuck yeah, probably yeah. I haven't even looked, but I know why they probably have, because that company that I'm talking about that was at the printing company. I've seen so many fucking special operation dudes sporting that shit, and law enforcement for them. And I remember just looking and being like, dude, they're not even. That's not what they fucking do. They're not in any form hitters.
Yeah.
Right. So there lies the question of the consumer. Does that individual need to be in it? You know, and some people don't.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I mean, and I'll say, like, the guy who started this other company, you know, he might not have been special operations, but there's guys on his team that are, right, and they've done amazing things in this soft community. There's guys that aren't in the soft community that are part of their team, and so whatever, he's trying to cater to that wide audience, and I don't know what his intention was in doing so, but I mean, to be honest, like, I don't really give a shit. The thing is, for me, is that Thrash and Raid, I knew what I wanted to do, and I wanted to help people, and I knew that the image I wanted to portray was who I am. I'm a skater, I was a veteran, I'm goofy, and I like to help people. And I encompassed all those things into the brand. And I think when people were attracted to the brand, that's what they saw. They saw one or all those things, right? And I didn't try to put special operations up forward, and you know, it wasn't all goofy, it wasn't all skating, it wasn't all veteran stuff. And I say, like, there are a lot of companies out there that try to show, like, this is who I am. I'm soft, or I'm you know, or they imply it or something like that, right? Or even skateboard brands. There's skateboard brands that the people don't even skate, right? And the owner's like, I can make money off of skateboards because I see the potential and stuff, and I'm gonna put this out, and the owner doesn't really even skate, right? And that's weird.
I think that's weird, and that's why I brought it up. Like, and again, this is to all the listeners, that's a question you have to ask yourself. There's a difference between being on the team and then the owner. The fucking owner portrays something and makes a lot of money off of it. If they don't have a problem with that, then that's fine. But the consumer, like, I'm not gonna buy a fucking board off someone who, if I found out that, bro, Benji doesn't even skate, and and dude, I'd be like, man, cool veteran company, that's awesome, but I'm not. I'm gonna go here. That's how I am. But there's some people that aren't like that. They're like, I don't fucking care, dude. I don't care what the owner does. I'm gonna buy the fucking product. Yeah,
and to me, that I think that's what made the blow to. Well, I wouldn't necessarily say a blow. At first, I thought it was a blow, and I want to say this, and then I'll go into my next point about that. Is that I saw it as a blow because I was like, dude, they're cutting my legs from underneath me. I live and breathe skateboarding. Like, I'm in the industry. I'm doing the stuff with people that have been in the industry for a long time. I'm putting events together. I'm constantly at the skate park. Like, I'm constantly skating. Like, if you look at my house and you go to my garage, like, it's full of skate ramps and
Yeah.
boards and you'll find me every day doing it and being part of it.
Yeah.
It's not like,
Which is a big reason why I might rent that house next door if he lets me, dude.
exactly, dude. Because we're gonna cut that fence down and we're gonna put a spine between the
Yeah.
houses, right? And so you
Fuck.
skate over, dude. But that's the thing. Like I lived and breathed skateboarding, and so that's what made me upset. Is like, dude, I feel like sometimes there's companies out there that they see skateboarding or they see whatever it is that they're into as a way to make money, and I saw it as a way to help people, and because it's part of my life, right? And it's who I am. But what I'll get to is my second point about it not being a blow. It's a blessing. Like all this is a blessing in disguise. Like us changing the name and everything. I think on the last podcast, I actually talked about the name, right? I talked about Thrashing and how I hated the name.
Yeah, I think you did.
Because I thought, to be honest, I thought Thrashing was kind of cheesy, and I chose the name kind of because I was like, oh, Thrashing it's funny, whatever. But then I was like, it's kind of stupid, and I thought Snake Farm was a cool name. I was like, and Larissa was like, dude, their name is way cooler than your name, and I was like, fuck, and I was like, yeah, it's true, you know, but. And so that thought of changing the name isn't a new idea. I thought like, okay, maybe later down the road I'll change it. And Jamie Thomas over at Zero, he's been just such a huge blessing in my life as well. Just being someone that will mentor and give me advice every once in a while about things that are happening with the company or things that are happening with my life. And he mentioned the same thing. He said, this obstacle that you're dealing with is a blessing in disguise. It's an opportunity for growth. It's an opportunity to grow bigger and better than you originally imagined, because you put yourself in this niche in just veteran space, and now you're able to expand outside of
100%.
it, right? And so that's how I see this. I see this as a real pivoting point for me. And although like I said, like there's those nights that I'm alone in the garage and I'm just like, fuck, dude, what am I doing with my life? And I'm just like scared and not sure what to do. I remember that. I'm like, okay, be grateful for what we have. Be grateful for this opportunity that we're doing. We're going to rise above. We're going to get through this.
Yeah.
Our future is great, right?
100%, man. And I just want to clarify, there's certain things that, especially the things that I'm more passionate about, are the individual, where it's coming from. I hope that's what they do. I hope, because that's what I support, right? A skateboard company. I supported Snake Farm, but I don't have any association with them, and I don't know any of them, and I've never been to any event and any of that. So when I met you, and I was like, dude, this dude fucking skates, and he's the owner. Fuck yeah! Like, let me buy a board to support. And then like little by little, then I just became a thrash and raid only fucking skateboard dude. Mm-hmm. And then I'm the same way with martial arts, right? Like, I'm not gonna buy a Muay Thai fucking shirt from some dude who doesn't fucking do any Muay Thai, right? Like, well, one of my his company's about to come out. David Paez, Diego Paez.
Yeah.
The dude is literally the Matrix. All the spinning on social media, and IG is fucking so guilty of this. People post the most sickest fucking combos, spinning, back fist, fucking jumping over shit all the time. That dude actually pulls it off and fucking fights.
Yeah.
And so does his brother. So when his company comes out, guess what? When I buy a Muay Thai related fighting shirt, I'm going to be from Diego's fucking company, because he actually does the damn thing, and I'm really passionate about it, right?
Yeah.
When I go to the store and I buy fucking pans, I don't know if the fucking owner of that pan company even cooks. I don't fucking care. I'm not passionate about that thing, right?
Yeah.
I'm passionate about the veteran community, right? And I see it time after time being fucking taken advantage of by people that know me. Like, you know what? And I've said it before, and I'll say it again. You can have 1 million fucking followers and it doesn't fucking matter. Or you can have 10,000 followers that are law enforcement and veterans, and you'll make more money than the page who has 1 million followers, because people know this about the veteran and law enforcement community. No matter what happens, recession or not, veterans get paid disability every month. If you're in the military, the 1st and the 15th, you're getting a fucking check. Law enforcement, you're getting fucking paid. So they know that these people have income, right? And so they do these fucking things to make a lot of fucking money. And when people say things like, oh yeah, I do things for the veteran community or law enforcement community too, I just don't fucking brag about it. It's not bragging, and it's not showboating or any of that. What it is because I've seen it. I've worked with a marijuana company who I saw them do one event, and we support veterans, we're for veterans, and I'm like, it's been almost now 2 years, and you did that one event, and on Instagram you're like, we're for veterans, for the military. On your website, we're for and you haven't fucking done shit. So technically, can you say you did something for the veteran community? Yeah, yes you can. I'll give you that. But don't fucking act like you're the same level as Benji, the one who puts his fucking energy day in and day out for the community. They're not the fucking same. So, and it's also an accountability thing. That's why I like that. That's why I post a lot of this stuff, because it's an accountability thing. Because if people are supporting me, I want them to know where that money is going.
Exactly. Yeah, and it's not I'm like boasting, like, look at all the great, like, look at how great I am, look at how the good stuff we're doing. If anything, it's actually a foolish move from a business point of view. If you want to make money, it's a foolish thing to operate in the shadows. Like, I'm doing this stuff and I'm not going to tell anybody about it, right? That's kind of foolish from a marketing point of view and a branding point of view. But from even just like philanthropy point of view, it's foolish to not showcase that. Any nonprofit will tell you that have been in the business for a while, you have to show what you say that you do. And you have to constantly put that on display. One, because it brings awareness to it. Because the more people that know about what you're doing, the more they're going to share that, and the more people that you're able to help.
Yes.
If I never tell anybody about the stuff that I'm doing and it never gets shown, then how am I going to help more people?
How are you going to grow?
Exactly. And so, like, of course I'm going to show the things that we're doing because I want more people to know about it. Because like what you were saying, we continue to grow, but I continue to put more into it, right? It's not like I'm just packing my pockets with full of cash, right?
Yeah.
And that's the thing too, is that I was able to bring on new team members, and I'm able to help people make a living off of this brand. Like, I brought on employees, right? I brought on Logan, and I brought on Chris, and I'm like, that's their job. They don't work outside of TNR. Like, I pay them.
Yeah.
Right. And so for me, it was very personal, because I said, you know what, I'm helping people make this living. I'm doing things for others, and of course I'm displaying it because I know it's gonna attract more people. It's gonna bring more awareness to the cause, especially for 6 Feet Above. The stuff that we're doing with that, like, I wanted 6 Feet Above to be like how I had an experience with another nonprofit called Operation Healing Forces. Mm-hmm. And the way I felt when I was on their retreat with Operation Healing Forces, I remember just feeling like, I can't believe this is real. Like, I can't believe what I'm doing right now is actually happening. And so when we started 6 Feet Above and we started to do this stuff for people, I wanted people to feel that way. Like, wow, I can't believe this is like actually happening. Like my flight just got paid for. All the food is paid for. Everything that we're doing is free, and that I'm having this sick event, and I got to meet Tony Hawk, and I got to meet Jamie Thomas, and I got to go to these cool places. I wanted people to feel that, like, that feeling like, wow, this is amazing. This is awesome. And then not just that, but like when people have that fun experience, they feel more comfortable and they let their guard down enough to be able to open up and talk about stuff. When you're so stressed out and you're in a room speaking to some 70-year-old shrink, you're not going to like say the same stuff you would around a group of people that you just had a really amazing time with.
Yep.
And then you're able to just like speak freely and openly about how you really feel.
Yeah.
Not whatever the shrink wants to hear. Right. And so that's what we tried to create. And we're not showcasing that to be like, look how awesome we are. And the thing is, and I think this is why we're getting taken advantage of. And this is why we do that vetting process on the phone. And and when I say that people have come and that they've taken advantage of us, it's not their fault. It's my fault. It's my fault for not vetting them enough. It's my fault for not screening those type of people enough, because there are people that have shown their true colors up front that we haven't brought on retreats.
Yeah.
Because they're like, oh man, that's so cool what you're doing. So who are we going to meet? What are we going to do? And this and this and this. And that's what they care about. They care about that experience. and not about what it's going to do for their life afterwards.
Yep.
Right. And so I don't want to bring on people that just want to have a good time. Of course I want you to have a good time, but that's not the reason why we're doing this. We're doing this to change your life. We're doing this to help that person stay connected, have a support network, and become a better person later on, right? Not just for people to just come through and just, just enjoy a good time at the barracks, because I'll do other events where we do that. But 6 Feet Above specifically is to help that veteran in need, right? And so and I'll take full accountability and say it's my fault for not screening them enough, right? But, dude.
It's a lot, man.
It is a lot.
It's a lot, and that's why that's the only time I do get worked up, right? For the most part, I'm very calm, collective, and just fucking, mushrooms help, so I'm always chill. But it's when stuff like that, something that I'm really passionate about, and I see people that you're doing a good job are fucking with it, it's you're my friend. It's hard. I'm not going to ignore it. I'm not going to, so we're doing great work. I think, like I told you this, I'll never forget it. When we were in that valley working, and I told you, this is the beginning.
Yeah.
This is before we had the first good year, and you did everything that you were doing, bro. You fucking skyrocketed. OG Pumpkin went that way. DSU went that way. We are all working together, but we all are growing in our respective areas.
Yeah.
And along the way, people were like, keep the circle small. Mm-hmm. Keep the circle small. And I know you're going to get excited because people want to hang out. They want to see what you're doing. The money's going to come. Don't get fooled, right? And specifically some of the people that I've been talking to in those worlds are like, hey, don't get into drugs because drugs come, women come. Fucking be careful, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, drugs and women aren't the main thing about skateboarding, because you're not really skating to get a lot of pussy, because to be a good skater, you got to be skating, not picking up chicks.
Yeah, exactly. And if you're in the skating industry to get rich, you'd be really I think being in the industry like changed my outlook on what I thought, because there's pro skaters that you're like, oh, that guy's a pro, like he's banking.
Yeah.
Right? That dude works at like FedEx, and he's also a pro skater, and he's putting the time in to skate on the side, and he's a pro skater, and he's paying to go to events, and he's paying to do this stuff, and he's doing casher tricks that I'm putting out and collecting $5 from doing a sick ass trick on a rail that you're like, holy crap, dude, this guy's like a pro.
Yeah.
And it's crazy.
Dude, I mean, man, it's a lot that we covered today so far, but
and there's one thing that we didn't talk about.
I don't want to talk about it.
You don't want to talk about it?
I do want to talk about
it. You do?
Okay. I think it's important, but before we go there, look, I said it multiple times. I feel like we have to help each other out, the veteran community. The veteran community needs to, the quality of individual in the veteran community and fucking 2A, right, fucking needs to go up. One, for in the firearms community, dude, so many people focus on gear, and it sounds fucking corny, but it's just gear and tools. You are the weapon. Your body is the weapon. So ask yourself, well, how is your flexibility, mobility, your overall physical and mental strength, your social circle, what you portray and put in this world? Because you can't just fucking say talking points. You can't be fucking fat and out of shape. And you can't have all the fucking cool guy in the world and think you are actually protected, because you're doing yourself a disservice. Because most likely what you're going to do is you will probably get in a physical altercation before you get in a fucking gunfight. And this is bullshit of the things that we're doing, of not focusing on the human, right? We got to take care of ourselves. And in the veteran community, I said it before, I feel like we need to help each other out, because for a long time, and I haven't been the only one, I've seen big companies fucking taking advantage of us and just fucking raping us of all of our fucking money, right? I never forget, I was in Iraq, and then they're like, veteran, and there's this big fucking company, and they're like, Veterans Day's coming around the corner, and we are, fucking to show you our support, we're gonna give you a 10% discount.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, you're making us buy things in the PX in Iraq, in this big base, And on Veterans Day, you'd be like, you know what, man? You know this is expensive ass gear I'm gonna make you buy. I'm gonna give you 10% off of that. And they did that for years because no one else was out there. Now there are so many active duty and veteran companies who let's face it, in the beginning it was subpar product, but now they're making great fucking product, right? So we can keep that money within us, help us grow and be entrepreneurs and be successful and continue our success outside the military. We can grow together, but within there are bad apples. They are fucking this whole community up, making not people trust each other. And the biggest thing for OG Pumpkin was mental health, right? I said I lost my purpose and I lost my community and I was in a deep fucking hole and I needed to figure it out, right? And I started doing events, and then OG Pumpkin came. So it's about everyone getting better, and obviously I'm selfish in that way. Yeah. Also, because I'm getting my community and I'm getting my purpose that I lost. And one of the things that has helped me with my community was finding good people. Right, and I talked about a lot of the bad, and some of the good people that I found, have companies and don't have companies, right? Mm-hmm. My friend fucking Dick and Eric, they don't have companies, but they're great people. Yeah. Mike, and then there's you. So I was your friend first. Or no, first you supported a charity event of my dead homie, and then I met you and I saw what you were doing. And I was like, you know what? That's a good dude. DSG is growing. And Mike's like, yo, man, we're looking for more quality, right? Mm-hmm. Quality, not quantity. Quality individuals who have a special operations background, right? We teach fucking SWAT teams, celebrities, all these fucking people, moms who've never touched a firearm. We need guys who continue that mindset into the civilian world, so we can, what we're showing them is we're not just some fucking overweight dude being like, yeah, fucking do this. And I'm not going to show you. I'm just telling you to fucking do it. No, we're out there doing it with the guys. Yeah. And we started working together. And you're always a happy dude. And I am never fooled by the happiness to say that you're not mentally strong. So when Mike is fucking chill and super cool, I know that, hey, he was a SEAL, so a lot of that stuff is in him, right? So I don't expect him to be happy and cool and chill all the time, so, right? So if I ever see Mike upset, it's gonna and ready to fucking fight, I'm gonna be ready to fight because I know the majority of the time he's a chill fucking dude, and he must be to this point for a certain reason. Yeah. Right? And then so when I saw you always chill dude, and then I see you stressed out, and then and then you're like, oh yeah, everything's fucking cool, everything's cool. And then after a while I was like, bro, what is going on? Because you're stressed out for a reason. Yeah. And you were stressed out because of your wife. And immediately I was like, dude, what the fuck can we do, right? Can we throw money at this problem? And we can't throw money at it. Yeah. Legally, because they kept asking me, are you being forced to sell your kidney? Yeah. And I was like, no. Like, they asked me this, so many people, like, oh yeah, how's your day going? Oh, by the way, are you selling your kidney? I'm like, no. The only way to fix it was a fucking kidney donation. And what are the chances? Dude. I don't even know of me being a match. Dude.
Angel, I love you, dude. One thing I'll say, man, before I get all emotional about it, because that's why I don't want to talk about it either, because I'm like, I got to close my eyes. Since meeting you, dude, my whole world has changed, dude. And I mean that in the gayest way possible. Yeah. No, but I mean that. No, but I mean that in like so much has happened, dude. And I think, when you're doing good things for others, you attract good things. I mean, you also attract the negative too. And I think I've let a lot of that negativity recently just kind of like stress me out, like we were talking about earlier. But like I constantly think back of like all the blessings, and you're one of them, dude. And you're like one of the crucial, like, I don't know, like since meeting you, there's been so much has changed in my life, right? Like for one, like meeting Mike, being part of DSG, and then meeting Rich and all the guys at the ranch, and how much like even WFG's like helped me out, like even for 6 feet above, like meeting Cash and those guys, and them donating 30 grand to 6 Feet Above so we could continue to do our mission.
Yep.
You know, and then all the other people that we've met along the way because of you, right? Like because of like being able to meet you and then do events together and do these things, like all these good things have happened after meeting you, right? And not to, and I'm not gonna say like, oh, maybe none of it would have happened, but I think a lot of it is because of that pivotal moment after becoming, you know, close with you, right? And I always tell people this, like when you put other people first and you do good things for others, like you get rewarded tenfold, right? Like it'll come back, right?
Maybe not initially, but it will.
But it does, right? And like I don't know what told me to say, you know what? Because I wasn't making a lot of money early on either, but something told me, you know what? Donate all your proceeds from that month and give it to that event, right? And if I had never done that, then I wouldn't have met you, or at least I'm not at the time I did, right? And so I don't know, man. And then since then, it's kind of been like just amazing thing after amazing thing, and we're constantly looking at each other and being like, dude, is this happening?
Yeah,
like, is
crazy.
this for real? Right? And then when you became a match for Larissa, I think part of the reason why I get so emotional about it too is because I don't feel like everything that's happened in my life after the military, I'm like, I don't deserve this. Even yesterday when I was on the helicopter and I was flying across, you know, the Pacific and we're heading towards Catalina, I was looking out and I was actually praying. I was like, how did I get here? I was like, why am I here? Like, what is like, what's this all about?
Yeah.
You know, because I was thinking about how I was like, fuck, I don't deserve any of this. I was like, this is really cool. I was like, I'm about to jump out of this helicopter. I'm hanging out with like a good dude that I met through Angel. And I was like, you know, Angel's about to give his kidney to Larissa, whom I also don't deserve. I don't deserve Larissa at all. I've done so many just terrible things to her as well and to the family. And so I'm just like, I'm thinking all this stuff as I'm flying out over the ocean. And I'm just like, dude, if this helicopter were to go down right now, like, I deserve it, you know? And I know that might sound heavy to say, but at the same time, I'm just like, man, I can't believe all this good stuff is happening in my life at the same time that this negative stuff is happening. But, dude, I can't thank you enough, dude. It's crazy. Like I'm still in disbelief, and I'm just so glad that we were able to like at least do something for you, put that, you know, give, send, go thing for you to raise some money for you.
Dude, that was dope, man. Thank you for whose idea was it? Because I kept seeing me tagged and people liking this, and yesterday was a super busy day, so I was going from point A to point B. Anytime I had a chance to look at the phone, I would just look at everything quick. So I was just like, oh yeah, cool. Like I got tagged on something. Yeah. People were commenting back, yeah, that's cool, it's cool. And then I would move to here and there. I was fucking everywhere with my kids yesterday. And then when I finally got to sit down and I was eating a burrito and I got to look at and then this time read the fucking caption.
Yeah.
I was like, I was with my kids and they were like, what happened? And I was just, because I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And then I clicked and I was like, and they're like, what happened? I was like, oh, nothing. And I was like, nothing. And then what happened there?
Dude, well, because we were talking about the event, right? Like we're going to do that comedy show on the 14th of September, right? In Fullerton at the
Roscoe's Deli.
Roscoe's Deli, right? So Roscoe's Deli in Fullerton, they're going to do an event, a comedy show. It's going to be super rad. You could buy your tickets online on Eventbrite, but and I think, you know, probably have the link up in OG Pumpkin and TNR. I'll put the link up in there too. But that event, Dan Ebert from WFG, who we met through Rich, right? Like he just out of the kindness of his heart is like, dude, let's do this event. Let's raise some money for Angel while he's out of work, because you know that getting your kidney removed, that's going to take you out of work for a little while because you're not going to be able to do the physical things that you've been able to do with DSG and everything else. And so I put it up on LinkedIn, and I was trying to tracked some guys there from the event, and a bunch of people were reaching out to me. They're like, hey, I live out of state. I'm not going to be able to go. How else can I contribute? And what I wanted to do is I wanted to start a GoFundMe secretly.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to tell you.
Yeah.
Right. But then I was like, no, man, because I got to put this on blast because it'll just bring in more for you. Right. And so I created that Give, Send, Go, because I know a lot of people don't trust GoFundMe. And I don't blame them, man, because they've done some shady stuff in the past. But Give, Send, Go, someone recommended that. And so I created that. And right now it's doing pretty well. And I just wanted to bring in all different avenues of like ways to just get some income for you during that time. And so we reached out to a bunch of different folks. They're doing, like yesterday, they did that event at the jiu-jitsu gym in Marietta, and they raised a couple grand for you there as well. The Kona Ice, it's a snow cone truck, right? They were like, hey, all the proceeds, we're going to give it to Angel, right? And they're doing another event. They're going to do the same thing. But yeah, dude, I love you, man. And that's not like when I tell people, I'm like, oh yeah, like Angel's giving his kidney to Larissa. People are like, what? like people are like, how long have you known him? I'm like, like a little over a year,
Yeah.
And they're like, what are you paying him to do it? You know, like, yeah, it's crazy, dude.
Dude, because I know I'm gonna be asked to why you're doing it, right? and somebody, because it was the 3-year OG Pumpkin event at my house, and just to do how OG Pumpkin started, I'm like, we're gonna have the fights and we're gonna have a taco guy, because this was the first event OG Pumpkin was created out of, and this is how we're gonna celebrate the year number 3. And somebody asked me, they're like, oh, you must have thought about it for a long time. I'm like, no, I didn't. Which I did not think about donating the kidney long enough, because, and at first it sounds funny, but it's because I didn't have to.
Yeah.
Because one, dude, like we've talked so many hours, we have shared experiences, and so when I saw and heard that Larissa needed help, I immediately thought about my wife, because unfortunately, a lot of things that we are really similar in is how we don't deserve our women, and the shit that we've done, the failures within the relationship as friends, as husbands, as fathers. So the way I saw it was like, Analia needs help. So if Analia needed help, what would I want? What would I want someone else to do?
Yeah.
Right. And then I saw my friend fucking stressed out, and I can't because in the military you fucking attack the problem. Well, I can't attack at that problem, right? And I think that's a lot of an issue a lot of us have, is that we're used to dealing with problems a certain way, like in the military, that you can't do that in the outside world.
Yeah.
So if I can't attack this problem, I can't throw money at it, what can I do? And I immediately, I got 2 kidneys, so let's do this. Yeah, and after 8 months, I can't believe it's a match, man. To be honest, and sometimes I feel like they're gonna take it away from me, that I am a match, because I've had that feeling for a long time. I remember, dude, because I grew up super fucking poor. I remember when I got my first place, when I moved out of the barracks, and I paid first month's rent. I remember thinking they're gonna come and they're like, "Psych, you can't have this. You can't have this apartment. This isn't yours."
Yeah.
Same when I got my first truck. I remember thinking like, I don't know why. I mean, obviously it's because of my upbringing, but I was like, I remember being like, someone's gonna come and be like, this isn't your truck. You can't have this truck. So I felt like I wanted to help my friend out, and they finally, after 8 months, they're like, yes, you're a match. And to this day, I'm like, I hope they don't call me and be like, actually, we reviewed the test and you're not.
Yeah.
And another reason, dude, is because doing the high doses of ketamine therapy in a controlled setting, dude, I don't really know how we all got here. I don't know how humanity created. I just know that we're going to be here for a short period of time, and it's not that your name you want to leave. I don't want to leave my name. I don't care about my name. It's certain traits that I think need to stay and put for our kids, and that is people with good heart. It's kindness, right? It's the good versus evil. To simplify it is good versus evil, and there needs to be enough good. One, because our kids are here, and I would like that's what I want them to have. I won't be here, but hopefully that overpowers the evilness, right? The evil that's in this world. And with the sprinkle of the history of us doing things, we say yes to them, and we don't even fucking know the repercussions, right? The lady's like, oh, you know, your life's gonna change. You can't do this, you can't do that. And then when they were like, oh, you're gonna be out of work for like 3 months, you know that? I was like, yeah, I do.
Let's go. Yeah.
And then when I got off the fucking Zoom conference call, I told Ali, I was like, so
Yeah.
it turns out I'm gonna be out of work.
Yeah.
She goes, you know, like how many days?
Yeah. How many days?
Or weeks?
Yeah.
And I was like, 2 to 3 months.
Yeah.
And dude, DSG is great, right? But I knew I couldn't expect Mike to fucking pay me. That's not how that works, right? So, and then with them taking my account, my personal account, and then OG Pump, and then starting to be shadow banned, and sales not being that fucking great, even though there's product to be sold, but it's just not being bought. Yeah. Fucking, I'm like, I gotta figure something out. I'll figure it out. I was still like, I'll fucking figure it out, right? Dude, so the comedy show, the fucking t-shirt we were gonna make, and all this makes my life a lot easier because I don't think it's that big of a deal donating a kidney, and maybe later on I will, but it's kind of like joining the military. We joined the military for a lot of reasons, but there's I think this might be true for a lot of people, is that there's something within us that's just telling us like, you have to do this. I just feel like it's something I have to do, right? So when I saw my friend in distress, and then Larissa's my friend, so when I saw a friend and the ketamine therapy and doing this and that, I'm like, you know what, I need to help. Plus in reality, I'm gonna be out, dude. So it's not like I'm gonna feel or see anything. I just take a nap, I wake up and just fucking chill. And at this point, dude, I just want to get it over with.
You're like, and that's what you kept saying. You're like, I don't want to talk about it. I just want to do it. And I love you, man. And I appreciate you, dude. I appreciate you and your family. And again, like since knowing you, life's changed drastically for the better, in so many ways, dude. And this is just the, icing on top of just like, I can't say thank you enough, for it. And so, there's anything I could do to alleviate that, what's going to happen, like second, third order effects of like, just helping you and your family. Like I want to do it for you, you know? And so it's just, dude, it's insane.
It is insane.
Honest. It's insane.
It's insane, but a lot of things that have been happening to us have been insane, man. And I feel like we are not our mistakes, right? The mistakes we've both done in our childhood and our upbringing in the military, with our relationships at the house, we can do better. And life does get better, but you have to work at it. And bro, my life has gotten better too since meeting you, man. And growing up, moving from house to house, man, it was hard to have friends. Did I know people? Yes. But did I have like super close friends? Not that many, man. And same in the military. Do I have a lot of friends? Yes, but super close friends? No. So when I got out and you're away from everything, dude, man, like again, it's just community and a purpose. And having you be my friend, Ryan be my friend, makes fucking life good. So however I can help, it is never, because there has to be, I feel like, transparency in everything, right? Mm-hmm. What do I get from doing this? Well, one, I get helping out my friend, right? And what does my friend do? He gives me a community, all right? And your wife is part of it too, and your kids and my kids play together. So it makes my kids happy, it makes my wife happy. So everyone benefits from it. And I feel like sometimes we get lost. We get that feeling lost in the big cities specifically, because you're surrounded by millions of people, but sometimes you might feel empty or alone. Yeah. And all it is you have to find your tribe, right? You have to find your community. And once you find your community, you got to hold on to it and do everything that you possibly fucking can to fucking keep it together. Yeah. Right? And then a lot of people want that, but they don't want to work that. And when it's fucking push to shove, and when it's time to fucking act, a lot of people don't want to. Dude, when everyone wants to be a fucking hitter, but when it's time to fucking, oh shit, someone's actually firing, I mean, you have to fucking fight. Then you realize, oh, I actually have to do this.
Yeah.
Right? So if
Yeah.
the way I see it, with that same energy, man, if I'm trying to build a fucking community and I'm saying I'm for the people and I want to make the world a better place, well, guess what? Maybe it fucking means you got to give up a kidney.
Yeah. Dude. Yeah, thank you, dude. And I it's not easy, dude. I know all that stuff going through your mind right now, like it's easier to say than do, and I think that's why you're like, let's just get it over with.
Yeah.
You know? And but that sense of purpose, community, all that stuff, like you hit the nail on the head as far as things that people need. And for veterans that are listening to this or watching this, like that's what it's all about. And just all the struggles that we talked about with entrepreneurship and with the things that are going on in our life and everything else, it really boils down to your mindset and your community, the people that you surround yourself with, the relationships that you've made, and focusing on those things, you'll find success. And although, and I'm constantly reminded by Logan, he reminds me of this all the time. He's like, we don't get paid a lot, right? And I'm not gonna be like, yeah, I'm fucking paying my guys like, they're making their monthly salary, but it's just enough, right? And what I'll say is, he's like, there's no greater joy that I have than being able to do this job, because I get to be with my friends every day.
Yep.
I get to skate every day. I get to just goof off and make stupid videos and have a good time and all that stuff. He's like, that is worth more to me than sitting in an office doing whatever and then making a bunch of cash, like I go on vacation once or twice a year or whatever it is. Because to me, and to him and us, like every day is a vacation for us. Even though it's a lot of work, it's like it's given us purpose and meaning, and I think it's who you surround yourself with that becomes a big part of that. And so yeah, man, you embody that sense of community. You're a huge leader in the community, and you're definitely leading by example with this one too, because I know a lot of people ask themselves like, man, if I was in his shoes, like, would I be able to do the same thing? And I know that's tough, dude. So
And I'm not gonna lie, man. It is scary.
Yeah.
And I talked to somebody that at the OG Pumpkin event. They're like, "Damn, dude, you got bigger balls." I'm like, "No, dude, I'm just fucking. I'm scared too, dude. I'm scared too." But maybe scared is not the right word, but I'm gonna use it because that's what it feels like. But you know what, man? I was fucking scared before I went to war. I was scared right before I did my first night mission in their home territory. We knew it was gonna be a fucking heavy area. When I first jumped out of a plane, when I got sent off to Ranger School, when I was in RASP to be part of the 75th Ranger Regiment, before I stepped into the cage for the first time, or the ring, or on the mats for jiu-jitsu, I've always been fucking nervous and scared. But and that's why when people are like, oh, you got big balls, or you have this, and no. It's or maybe some people feel that way, but no, I've always been nervous or scared for a lot of things in life. But I just rather just go do it and see what happens, but then think and go through the rest of my life of what could have been, or maybe I should have done this, or I wish I could have, or whatever.
Yeah.
So.
Plus, I've seen your balls, dude. They're not that big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, that's one of my biggest. That is one of the top things I'm more concerned of. This whole kidney
Is them
thing.
seeing your balls?
Is because they have to put a catheter in me. I told Annalie, I was like, why can't they put a catheter? Like, I wish I can get a hard on. And then they're like, okay, now we put the catheter on, because like they're gonna talk to me and I know what's gonna happen. So everyone is gonna want to hide, and then the nurse is probably gonna be like, look at him.
Look at that little pee-pee.
Yeah, look at that, all shriveled up, and I'm gonna be like, "Fuck, man! Like, lady, I'm telling you, when there's good days, there's good days.
I'm a grower, not a shower, man.
I'm telling you, there's some good days." But and then Aaliyah started laughing. She's like, "Really?
That's what you're concerned about?"
I was like, "Yeah." And she just shook her head. She's like, waiting for that. Like, I'm just kidding. And I was like, "No, that's what I'm nervous for."
Yeah, man. No one wants. People want to be seen as a lot of things. Like we talked about, we talked about people want to be seen as tough.
Yeah.
As like someone that's out there leading the pack, doing good things, fucking being a special operations guy. You don't want everyone to know about your little pee-pee.
Dude.
You know?
That is, That is like the top.
They know now.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, I mean, I got it too, you know? It's like, you know, but hey, I'm able to pump out 4 kids at least, you know? And I feel like every time it gets smaller and smaller. In fact, yesterday when we were in the ocean and I think that's a thing, man. I think all special operators probably got little peepees, dude. The more high up you are in the badass stuff you do, the smaller your wiener is.
And you can only have girls.
And you can only have girls. Yeah, you don't make any boys. Yeah, you know, it's your curse, you know, but, you know, it is what it is. Has nothing to do with my Filipino genes either. Yeah, that's also not a blessing either.
Dude, I said it in the valley. I was like, this is just the beginning, right?
Yeah.
Fucking year went by. And this, dude, we're going to look back. We're going to fucking look back, and I can't wait for that stress not to be on you, man, because that's a big thing. Because if you can do all that you've done, and your family can do all that with this huge obstacle, I'm excited to see what you guys can do for yourselves and for the community when you don't have the restraint of this fucking BS change your name thing of medical conditions. I'm excited because it's going to benefit you. It'll benefit the community that I'm fucking super passionate about, and there's no denying the work that we've done. I'm excited, dude.
Dude, and I'll tell you one thing, Angel, dude. I'm excited to not have this stress anymore, but at the same time, the way I'm looking at it is just like yesterday. I was saying how Mike and I were talking about how we're like, you know, we didn't really train for this thing that we did, right? Like the miles plus swim and then all the running and everything else we did. But mentally, we were like, I'm ready for it because I've been through some hard shit before. We've done our deployments, we've done the training, we've done everything else to like get us to that point. And we're like, so we know that no matter what was in front of us, we could crush it. And so for me, being an entrepreneur, I'm still new to it, right? I'm only a couple years in, and I've gone through some hard stuff, and I've gone through some really high points, and we're at a low point, and we're climbing back up, right? But one thing I know for a fact, we're going to have even harder challenges coming up in the future. But I know that I'm going to mentally be like, I've gone through some hard shit before, and I know I could overcome these things. And so for me, that's what it's all about. Knowing that I'm surrounded by good people, knowing that I've done some hardship before, I could get through it again, and just go with that and constantly go to war with myself, with my own negative thoughts, because I know it's going to happen, right? And just to reiterate, like, that negativity comes to all of us, even the most positive people that display positivity on the outside. All these stressors that people may or may not have known about, like my wife's kidney and all the things that are happening with the ration rate and the name change and everything else, and then the stress of income and all that stuff, like it weighed heavy, but I'm not going to let that stuff bring me down. And I know that you go into it and everything that you do with that same mindset. Fuck yeah, you're scared, but you're going into it with that mindset of like, I'm going to get through this. I'm going to conquer it. And so I know there's great things to come. I love you, dude. I appreciate you, man.
I love you too, man. And I love your family. You have a beautiful family. And you know what, dude? We're so similar, which is why it makes this a lot easier, man. So September 14th, we have the comedy show. George Perez from, you've seen on Joe Rogan. You've seen him on fucking MTV. Food's Gone Wild. He's going to be there. And then after the show, we literally have the venue to just chill, drink. There's already a DJ. Come out. Let's see. Support Hero Games charity because, dudes, they were basically the biggest thing that made this happen, right?
Yeah.
One of the biggest things that made it happen. Check them out. Thrash Charade, OG Pumpkin. Thank you for listening. I'm hungry. I got to pee.
Dude, same.
All right.
But out.